Looks like your mic's off. I can't hear you.
I love it. I was literally
Oh,
thinking I could listen to this all day. It was great.
yeah, there you go. There you go. All right. All right, we're just looks like everyone's just moving out of some of the rooms that we got going on right now. And we're broadcasting live on all social media. So if you're watching on one of the channels, I don't know if you're on our Twitter or YouTube, or we're also broadcasting on Instagram and on TikTok. So if you guys are watching, you could also click in and get right into the room, and you could probably ask some questions. I know we have some staff that are sitting on some other rooms, and they'll be able, so our staff is in on the other social media platforms, so they'll try to answer it, or you can click on that link and get registered. So, so anyway, who actually came yesterday? For the Tom Sosnoff event. Just want to do a quick chat, really quick. I would do a poll actually, but by the time I get that up and running, I gotta write that down. Susie, you were there? Chris, are we there? Good, good, good. Christian, Philip, good, good. Janet, all right. You enjoyed it? Yeah, listen, Adam does it. Adam has does a lot with Tom Sosnoff. I've done a lot with him back in known for over 20 years now. But we wanted to kind of bring him in and kind of show you a little bit about how the options work a little bit more and what has changed. I know we haven't had him on our end, since before COVID, but Adam has him on all the time. Learn a lot from him, and it's been awesome. Hold on, let me just get is the record up and running? Just want to make sure we got. Yeah, we got up and running. All right, good. So, but anyway, today's event, what we wanted to do is me and Tom met up, and me, Tom, me and Adam met up, and we wanted to kind of like do something a little bit different for everyone, as in how do you apply you know options trading towards day trading, and we were actually for if you heard what happened yesterday, we basically bumped it. We met many of times. I mean, he's actually doesn't live too far from me. He's one town over, and once in a while we bumped into the train. Going to the city once. We in town once in a while we bumped around. We bumped around to a couple of more events, and we always kind of talk about doing something. I said, let's just get something done. Let's just get something done. So this is kind of a little bit different than we usually do. Here at Cyber University, and also Adam Mesh on his end. Usually we kind of like do an event together and kind of share what we do differently. But we figured we want to do a quick workshop because I thought that it might make sense for a lot of you to kind of see what it's like where you have two gurus trade almost very similar like, because everyone here wants to trade options doesn't mean you should, and everyone wants to trade stocks doesn't mean you should. Maybe just learning from the wrong person, maybe you have a different style, but we're going to try to put those masterminds together, and that's why we're here. So what I want to do is I'm going to basically change the slide here, and I want to go to the live markets now. Adam, I know that you should have control too, and I have control, but kind of get to show you a little bit what we're going to be doing a little bit differently. So basically, our goal is this. Oops, hold on a second. Hopefully, everybody can see it. Can everybody see this? Okay.
Well, yeah, let me just add to the intro a little bit,
Yeah, go ahead, Adam.
if you don't mind. So, yeah, I used to see Fausto pre-COVID. We would both take the train into the city. So I'd see him at the train station a couple times. And then that stopped. And we were both going to this event in Florida, ended up sitting on the plane, had a great conversation. Um, Two totally different styles, but at the end of the day, we have the same goal, which is to find really good stocks to trade. Uh, and that's what we all want, right? Good stocks, good levels, make good trades. Um, and so we started saying we should do something. And then we decided to connect it to yesterday's event with Tom Sosnoff, because I thought it would just be fun to get more people on there, more energy. Um, but I gotta tell you, Fausto, the whole point of this was to find good stocks.
Mm-hmm.
And you came on in front of everyone yesterday and you called out two stocks. You're like, there's two things we're watching right now. Uh, the first was ADIL, which I had never heard of. But I bought it after hours yesterday at like 2:42 because of
Look at,
you.
look at you. Look at you, little sneaky on my lip
Yeah.
going over there. Look at
I
that.
told you I did on the call, and that
Ah,
went above three today. That was a great call out. The one I didn't trade, but was also an unbelievable call out, and it confirms that whatever you're doing, you're seeing your eyes are in the right place. Let's put it that way. because you called out Rent the Runway. It had earnings yesterday. It was trading at 11, and that stock was incredible today. It went to 24. It's now trading at 17. I have not traded. I'm not going to trade it. It's too volatile for me. I don't want to
Yeah.
buy 500 shares and lose 1,500 in a second. Yesterday and after hours, it was sitting at 11 and change.
Yeah.
And that would have been a home run. So that has me really excited for what we're going to do today. And just to get the energy going and confirm, the love of the crowd. How many of you also think the biggest thing you could benefit from is finding the right stocks to trade? Give us a 100 for 100% right now. And let's see the chat come in, because that's really what I think it's about. We all want good ideas. And, it just confirms that putting this call together was the right thing yesterday, because you came in 2 for 2, guns blazing. So nice job on that.
Yeah, and you know what? What's nice about that, when you have somebody like Tom come in there and talk about the different perspective, you probably hear Tom kind of shot me down a little bit, saying me like, I don't trade these kind of stocks, and I get it, because some people don't, and some people just don't see. Like when you have something that works for you, and and which he had something that works very well for him. That's the reason why, like, you'll see him, like, he was talking more about the bonds and more about more like brand name stocks. But one thing I mentioned earlier when I did my morning meeting, I told everyone that we all traded pretty much the same. 70% of the style we trade the same. A lot of it is more liquidity, discipline, the psychology part of it. And eventually you kind of build your own style. Some people, like, it changes, and that's why you got to listen to not one, but several different people down the road and see what works for you. And listen, if it doesn't, and if you don't get it within 2-3 months, it's probably not your style. Everybody's a little bit different. Some people like steak, some people like fish, some people like, everyone has a different flavor of what they like. Some people only like vanilla, some people like chocolate, some people like rainbow. You know what I mean? Like, I hate rainbow, but that's basically what comes to stock. So I like how to look more of the small cap stocks. They're all NASDAQ national. They're not penny stocks or anything like that. They're all NASDAQ national, but just the liquidity moves it pretty higher. But yeah, Adam, I had something that I wish I would have talked about earlier yesterday too, but wait till I show you another one that's really moving, which I think we're going to have fun today trading it, because this one, a little bit more on the expensive side, the stock GL, been a great short all day, great short. And another one that we've been trading too this morning, which we're going to have fun and we're going to share too, is we were trading Revion. Revion's been a good short too, everything that's happened with the EV stocks. But we'll check out those. I can't hear you.
Sorry, I mute myself when I have trades that I know are about to ding, so it doesn't distract when you're talking.
Oh,
I have my platform set to a cash register sound, so if I hear, like, if I make a trade, you'll hear like a cash register go off. But I thought, to start, I think it'd be helpful, like where did you get those stocks from? Because I'm watching everything and I didn't see ADIL or Rent. So what is it about your community and the way you guys do things that you would just like call them out? Like, and then, well, obviously I want to get into the second part, which is your secret sauce for looking at the levels and stuff, which that's what we spent a lot of time talking about at the event and on the plane. But like, is it just your community? How'd you find those?
so I'm gonna show you right now, and we're going to bring those up. Hold on a second. So let me.
By the way, Tom doesn't trade stocks, so anything you could have talked about any stock, and he would have been like, he only trades options, and mostly he collects premium only. He is not even a buyer of options; he's a seller of options.
The seller of options.
Which there's a lot of advantages to that, and I'll get into that today too. But I trade stocks too, so I'm the best of both worlds like you. So go ahead.
Well, let me bring that over really quick. Does everybody see my screen okay? So everybody can see this fine. Just let me know. Do you see it, Adam?
Yeah, we see it.
Okay. So GL, if you notice right here, the way the style that we work as professional day traders is we want to trade stocks that have good volatility, right? We want to go through the big percentage gainers and losers. Stock, Tom talked about that yesterday too. If stock doesn't have action in it, you're not going to make any money on it. Not only that, but the spread can get pretty big, get pretty wide, and everything. Now, this is basically where we work on right here. Get my crayons out here so I kind of show you what we got going on here. So right here, you see this right here, GL. It's the second biggest percentage loser. The one on the number one on the list is a test stock, but that's the biggest loser on the New York Stock Exchange. Okay. So when we go out there and we trade, we just work off the big percentage gainers. This is all we need, the top 20. So we got the most active, we got the most NASDAQ percentage gainers, NASDAQ losers, New York Stock Exchange active gainers, losers, and volume. So that's basically what we're working on. So GL was obviously their first thing in the morning. Now, I don't know if you have news, but we actually who's in our room? Is Rich here? Rich, what's the news? I don't think Rich is in here. Rich, what was the news? You could broadcast it on GL. Because GL was pretty bad. The news that came out on it. And then when you hear the news about it, you're like, what the hell? They're like, there it is. Okay, thanks a lot, Rich. So that's basically the news that we have. We pumped this in our room. We kind of use Benzinga for our news service. We also do a lot with them too. And we found that and GL basically it's fraud, right? They had a big fraud, something like going on here. So I'm like, oh my God, because that's the first thing I look at. I look at like, I don't really care about the news too much, but when I see something like this, I'm like, holy crap, that's pretty bad. And I'm like, it's probably going to go lower. And then what happened right around here, I'm going to blow this up a little bit bigger here so you guys could see it here. I'm going to blow this up here. So what happened right around 10:30, I mean, the big drop was right around here, 9:30 to drop. And then it kind of stopped. And then Tom also brought this up yesterday that, like for some of you don't know this, I think you saw this, Adam. So I built this mouse pad, which is like the best times and worst times to trade. So, I mean, there are times in the middle of the day you still could trade, but I still think that as a day trader is the most active time, the first hour and last hour. But here you could see it did trade continue in the middle of the day. And after 10:30, even at $88, it dropped all the way to $73 on the short. And you know what? It still looks like it's going lower. So we're going to talk about that. How do we know where it's going to stop? Is it going to continue, and how Adam would trade this also as an option trade. Now, I don't know if the stock has good options. Adam, you know better than me, because I'm just looking at the trend of the stock right now. Are there options on it, Adam? I don't know. You tell me.
So some options have weekly options markets and some have monthly. If they have monthly, they're not as active, but they could still be good. So GL has a monthly options. So the next trade date would be April 19th. Then there's earnings April 22nd. The options with the volatility today, and that's usually what happens, the options kicked in. Still a decent spread. And we'll go. I think the best order would be if you take a look at the book map, and talk about where you see activity, buyers and sellers. I could then show you how I would apply the options to it.
All right, now I'll be honest with you. I'm not a fan of the book map on this one because it is expensive and it's pretty volatile. Okay. And I don't want to confuse anybody other than
I'll just touch on the benefit of options versus stock on this one, because there's a lot. Okay. So let's say GL, we want to get involved, right? I would never naked short this. I mean, pretty much after we saw what happened to GameStop a couple of years ago, you can never naked short anything. It's too scary. Naked short, your risk is infinite. Nobody wants to deal with infinite. And so we're not going to do that. But if I thought we could benefit from it going down, I would look to buy puts. And the nice thing about this is we're in this for a short-term play. Like, we have no idea what GL does. You said fraud. Like, we know nothing else about the company, right?
Nothing.
We have no idea what their earnings are. And we certainly don't care where it's going to be a couple of weeks from now. Exactly. This is like surfing. This is a wave. We want to catch the wave. Let's say this is just complete collapse. We think maybe it could go down to 50. Where I would get involved here is I would buy an out of the money option. Like this, like even the 60s, they were just at 140. Now they're at 210. But you could buy the 60s at 140, and you could say, okay, if we get a 3-point down move, we're going to make 50 to 100% on that option. Versus if it rallies 8 points, our risk is only that 160. So the benefit of the options on a play like this is if you get an exacerbated downside move, your option will swell up. If you're wrong and you miss, you could control exactly how much you can lose, and the risk is very defined. And
let me just remind everybody that at the end of this presentation, what he just mentioned, we're going to actually tell you a little bit more about a workshop that we're going to do, a month workshop on how to teach you this, because like anything else, we can only talk about, we only can fit so much to spark your interest within an hour. But our goal is that if you like what you hear and you want to see it, we're going to show you how we're going to do it over the course of 1 month, and train you and see it over and over again. Because not only do we kind of more day trade, we do swing trade. And when it comes to swing trading, you could also hedge yourself on the options, as that's what, and that's what basically what me and Adam looking to do. But I really want to, I know we talked about the rent trade and stuff like that. I want to kind of show, these are Revion. That was a pretty good one. I want to bring up Revion. This is probably my best trade of the day today. I want to talk about, and I think this will probably tee us off. I don't know if you could look at the past, Adam, but you know better than me. But Revion was probably the best short that we had today in our room. Okay, and the reason why I'll say that, let me bring this up and show you. Let me bring up the chart on here. RIVN. So you could see Revion right here has got crushed right at the open. Right here at 9:30, it just went from like 10:30 all the way down to a whopping 9:50. It wasn't, listen, it wasn't like that other one. The other one was extremely volatile. But this is where I'm trying to get to. We've been watching Revion for a long time. Revion, you could look here on the long-term chart right here, that the stock got crushed. It's basically lost its deal with Amazon. It went from $16, dropped down to about 11. This stock right here, if you go back as far as you can, this stock is breaking all-time lows, which is another thing that we kind of teach you in trading, what basically that means. But what I want Adam to show you is what we spotted today, that my traders in the room, we've been watching the stock for several weeks now, okay, is this. There was, you see this little red line? Hold on. Does everybody see this right here? This line right here? Everybody see that? Okay. That right there is $10, okay, of a buyer. That $10 buyer has been out there for weeks, and he always shows up at 9:30 every day, okay? And if you go back, if you have certain software, you can actually go back. You could see it even if you have this one. But this is what I want to show you, and I'll show you exactly what we're going to look at. Let me clear this out. Let me show you what's going on right here. So I'm going to zoom in this area right here. Hold on. I'm going to bring it up over here. And I'm going to bring this number here, and you're going to see that number there. You see that right there? This is the actual order book right here. This is the current order book. These are all the orders. There were 1,000 shares at 10.12. Yeah, 4,000 at 10.10. But when you got to this 10,000, could everyone tell me how many shares is that you see right there? What number is that right there that you see? If you can't see that number, I tell everyone to quit trading. That's right. 600,000 shares. Do you know what 600,000 shares of a $10 stock is? That guy's been there forever, okay, for several days. And I'll even show it to you here. Now, this is just an easy way of just looking at it. Here. So here's Revion. Here's the long-term chart here. And let me zoom in over here. So what I'm talking about. So if I draw a trend line at $10, you could see here that 10 going back in February, going back over here in late April, and so on. A lot of support levels. When you break support, that support level comes to resistance. So my question to you, Adam, is to show everybody: did you see any orders at $10 out there? Any future orders? Any orders got executed? Anything that you would have seen that be like, you know what? Not only do I see it on the buyer side, but I see it on an option side.
Did I see it where? When I was looking at Rivian, or?
No. Do you see anything? Could you see anything that got executed right at that number, right around $10?
I wouldn't be able to see that, no.
Okay. So, but if you did be able to see it,
yeah,
would you have known and see that order get executed and would have got out if that big iceberg order got executed? Like if you had a buy out there at $10 on an option, and you saw that and you saw that 600,000 share buy get executed, would you still want to own that option, or would you want to
Absolutely
cover?
not. I'd want to be, I'd be want to out of there in a second.
Exactly. Now, point is, this is what me and Adam are looking to do, because some people, our biggest failure rate in trading, and the main reason why most people are here is because they don't know how to take losses. That's the biggest thing. And like yesterday, me and Adam were talking about it yesterday. And one thing that I always go by is everyone likes to talk about the winners. You got to learn how to lose first before you can make money. Okay. And nobody knows how to take losses. And here's an example of a stock that if you didn't know that order got done and you did a swing trade and you sat there and be like, oh, it's Revion. I own the car. I like it. When you take things personal, that's how you're gonna get hurt. And you can see this little ball right there. Does everybody see that big ball right there? Does everyone see where it says volume? Can everybody read that number where it says volume under that quotation? How many shares is that? It wasn't 600,000. Yes, it was almost 1 million shares that got executed at that price. That's how many shares got executed there. All right. Yeah, it's a big order. Now, what would probably with the way we're going to teach our classes with you and what we're going to do in the next month in this workshop that we're looking to invite everybody into doing is that by seeing that order out there, Adam would have been like, you know what, Fausto, there's a really cheap option trade out there. Let's put a put on it. And boom, he would put a put on it. And you know what? That would make it that much easier if you understand how to play an option trade on that one. And that's the really way you got to kind of go about it.
All right. So now let me ask you this. If people were trading Rivian, right? Like if you wanted to, how would your community currently trade that? They would get shorted?
You're short.
Right. And
You're
so
short.
and so you would go to short 1,000 shares, it would be $10,000.
Correct.
And if it went from 10 to 9, you would make $1,000.
Or 10 to 50, like right here where it's at 10 to 50. And if you made 50 cents, 50 cents on 1,000 shares, $500,
All right.
$100,000 salary.
Now let me show you something cool. Can I share the screen for a sec?
Yeah, go ahead, share it.
Share screen. Continue. Okay. All right. So this morning it was at 10. Where did it open, Rivian? It opened at
It opened at something like 10:30.
Okay. Do I wanna is my screen in full screen mode? You can see it clearly?
Yeah, we can see it.
All right. So it opened at 10:30, right? Okay, so check this out. So let's look at the 950s right now because that's proportionate. It's down 70 cents. So 950, no, this is 16 cents. This will be even more. So it'll be the 9. So it went from 1030 to 960, it's 70 cents. So right now it's 966. So the 9 would be this. So if you wanted to buy the 9 puts, so this morning that would be the 10 puts when it was trading at 1030, right?
Right.
It would be 3 cents. Okay. So we're not going to do this because it's options, but this is the allure sometimes. If we wanted to do the equivalent of shorting 1,000 shares, right? It would be, wait, I don't even know if it'll let me do it. It won't even let me do it. Okay. So if we did, I mean, you can't, it won't even let me put that big of an order in. But bottom line is if we bought 80 of the puts, it would cost us $240. Okay, you see the max loss? And obviously if it went to 0, which it's not, it would be 71,000. But if we got a 70 cents move in this on $240 risk, we'd be making $5,600. Okay. So and even right now, let's say we thought Rivian would go to 9 by the end of the week, because today's Thursday, we have today and tomorrow. Instead of shorting it for $9,600, we could literally just buy the 950 put, which is in a move with the stock, right? And if we wanted to risk $500, right? If we want to risk $500, if Rivian went to 9, we're making 3,000. Okay. So when you take the ideas that you guys have and you add this options component, it's incredible because you could do so much less risk. Obviously, we got to make sure that they're moving and there's a market. Not all stocks have a market. That's why we need both. Like a dial that you gave me didn't have an options market. So the only way to make money in that was a stock.
Mm-hmm.
But for this right here, let's say you said I want to make $500. Okay, $500. You know that could be this. If you thought they could move 50 cents, then instead of getting short and the fear that Tesla says they're going to buy Rivian and all of a sudden it's a $17 stock overnight, you just lost $8,000. You just buy the option. It would cost $100. If it goes down 50 cents, you make the same 500, but you're not using 10,000 to do it. You're only using 100, right? And if Tesla announced overnight they were buying Rivian and it went up, the most you could lose is $100. That's the beauty of the options. You don't have
You
you
make
don't
it,
lose.
you pop in like an insurance policy.
Well, it's controlled risk, and you still get the same benefit of the upside. The only way this stuff doesn't work is if you want to be a long-term trader. If people on here are saying, no, 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 this isn't the way I trade. I want dividends. I want to own stocks for years to come. Nothing I'm saying is applicable. But what I think your community does, and what I do, is we're surfers. We see a wave, we get on the wave, we get off the wave. If
Exactly.
we're going to surf, this is a better way to surf. This is not better. This is literally another option.
That's
Which
why it's
is
called
cool.
options.
Yeah, which is cool. So, and then one more thing is, let's say like that $10 buyer became a $10 seller, and let's say you see that iceberg order there, and it's sitting there. Well, now we might go out till next week and say, okay, it's down. We think it's going to stay down. So we could take this, we could sell the $10 call, buy the $11 call for 18 cents, right? And let's say we want to do 20 contracts. Now we'd be risking 1,600, but we would make 340, but there's a 78% chance of success. So if we wanted to just put in an order and say it's not coming back up past 10 unless it gets through that order, we could throw this in there, and most likely there's a 79% chance we'll make $360 by next week, literally doing nothing. And if we're completely wrong and Rivian ran up to 11, sure, we could lose 1640. Now, if you didn't want to lose 1640, you can make less. You could do it for 10. You could risk 820 to make 180. That's a bear call. These things, and especially when you have more conviction, like here's a good one. Like that's why I was asking. I know you said you wouldn't use iceberg orders on GL, which by the way has gone down 7, 8 more points since you started this call. You're good, man. You find things that are moving. That's what I really like about you. That's what has me excited. That's what started all these conversations. I hope that comes through. Like the fact that you got on a call and 30 minutes later and said this is a short and the stock's down 7 points in 30 minutes. That's like legendary. That's like
And the only
legendary.
reason why, like, I didn't want to push it too much and talk about it because once again, it's
It's
a little
down
fast
38
moving.
points. Yeah.
It's
But
very
let's
risky and very fast.
Yeah, but let's say like for April 19th, let's say you came in and said, "Oh my God, okay, the options aren't here right now." But let's say you came in and said there was a whale at it wouldn't really work because these are too thin. Do you have any more popular stocks where you could find an iceberg order?
Oh yeah, there's plenty of them. I mean, I'll even do a brand name stock. I mean, I'm just showing you like I want to just bring up what was active in the day.
No, I wanna get more of those. I enjoy that. But if you
I
want
mean,
to just call out a stock and a level, I'll show you something right now. You want to show the iceberg order and I'll take it back?
yeah. All right. So let's say let me
You
see
you,
what's let me
you
find
take the
something.
screen. So you could take the screen.
Yeah, yeah. Let me just see if I can find something a little bit more brand name. Now, the problem when you deal with a little bit more of like the Fabulous Seven type of stocks, once again, options are going to cost you more, the stock costs you more, but it applies to everything. Okay.
Okay.
It applies to everything. I will bring up, hold on, let me find, I'm going to bring up some brand names because it works for brand names too. But you could probably do this more on the long term chart. Let me just see. It's loading up. Sometimes I deal with these. All right. So, okay. Let me bring up, let me take over control
Yeah.
and show what we got going on over here. How do I share? Co-host. Why can't I share? Trying to get the screen so I could share this. Oh, duh. Sorry about that. All right. Screen one. All right. Can everybody see that okay? All right. So I'm going to bring up Apple. Let's bring up Apple. Okay. So Apple's moving up pretty nicely. We had a big rebound in the market. We were down like 250 points or about 19. Apple's doing pretty well. So Apple, just want to bring this up and show you what I got going on. So you already have default orders. You got a big buyer right here at 165 for about 295,000. You got another quarter million at 180. You got another quarter million at 190. And here you have that 800,000 share sell at 200. Remember I was talking about this yesterday with Tom about those limit orders that are out there in the future. Now, if you look right here, you see right here when the market opened up, here's 930. These orders don't kick in until this is what's called program trading. These orders don't come in until now. See that right there, how they kind of popped in there right there?
Yeah.
So here you have your limits. Now, what you could do now is kind of tell everyone, well, because everybody's like, oh, I want to trade Apple options, Apple options. Okay, great. Let's look at the Apple options. Here are your limit orders out there already. And let's just see where these orders out there. Now, what if I don't know if anyone remember what I brought this up to Tom, I was kind of asking him, and I don't think he really kind of understand the question as much. But like what I was trying to explain to him is that um and maybe you probably understand Adam a little bit more because you day trade. He doesn't really day trade, the stock trade more, like you say, he does more options. But like if somebody puts an option call out there, something like ridiculous out of the money, is that order getting like you just can't put an option order out there without
Risk
without
of accepting.
what?
You're liable for it. Yeah.
You're liable for it. But do you think somebody will put an option order out there without making sure that they can cover it in the stock market? Or do you think they're just put it
No,
out there?
Tom did answer you saying that usually those big orders have stock on the other side to protect them.
Right. That's what basically I'm saying. So isn't that wouldn't there be stock on the other side, but then to
Yeah.
put that order out there?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's my point. So if you look at an option that if somebody would get to execute at 200, you could see right now there's a 768,000 share order out there. Now, that is a real order because you can't put orders out there. The exchange won't let you put orders. Exchange won't let you put orders out there. Those are real orders. Okay. So they're not fake orders. Now, somebody could cancel their order. Some people could change their mind, but you cannot. And I wish there was a brokerage firm out there. Let me put fake orders out there, but you can't. But that's a real order out there. Now, what I like you to show everyone here, Adam, is show me some of those big orders out there on options. So someone could have a game plan like what made that big option call out there.
Would you say 180 is the near term level there?
Yeah, like right now you could see that there's a quarter million at 180. There's another 300, 295, 6 here at 165. You could see them already out there.
Okay. Oh, GL got halted. So if you go to Apple,
And
yeah. So if you go to Apple and you have the 180 level, so now what we could do.
I'm sorry, I didn't change subject, but
Yeah.
damn. You know what? I would have
It was a great call.
cost me a fortune to be in this room, but I could have made a killing on that. But it's fine.
Um, did you have any or no?
Now, you know what? I don't like to teach when I'm doing webinars and I have stocks because I have ADD, so
Yeah,
I
me
can't
too.
do two at one time.
Me too. We're the same. So let's say we go 180 on Apple and we go to next week because that was the near term level, right? There's not much there. But you have the 180. Like I wouldn't even do this trade. There's no premium. And that's part of the problem is that we're in such an up market, bull market, that premium is lagging. So what I maybe do is um maybe go out an extra week, but do it ahead of earnings and say 180 will be the near term top. And here we could sell the 180 um and buy the 185. And this isn't a trade I would make because it's 10 to 1, but there's
Yeah.
like 90% probability that you would just collect $276 off this, you know? Um,
And why is your maximum loss 2,700?
so we did six contracts. Okay. So we did six contracts. We're selling the 180. We're buying the 185 for protection so that if it went above 185, we can't lose. Okay. So the most we could lose is 600 shares, 5 points less than 46 cents. Now, if we did one contract, we'd be risking 455 to make 45.
Doesn't sound like a good trade.
No, it doesn't. This one's a high percentage trade, but the risk reward, usually I'm doing this where maybe I'm risking 700 to make 250 or 300. You are the house in these trades. So
Mhm.
you're going to lose more than you make on a credit spread, but you're going to win 18 or 19 out of 20 times. And then what I do, what I just did, like I just made a really good trade in Tesla. Um, I don't know if you saw last week, there was news on Tesla on Friday. In the middle of the day, it came out that they weren't going to make the inexpensive cars. And Tesla dropped from 172 down to 160. Going into that, we had a bear call on Tesla. So we had the 172.50, 175 trade on for like 80 cents. Okay. Now, when that Tesla dropped 10 points, we could have covered these for 40 cents, but it was a little hard. Like the market got messy because when you see extreme moves, options market gaps out because they don't know what's going on. So everyone steps back and says, well, if I'm going to fill here, it's going to be for a really good price, you know? So then what we did was rather than try to close the trade, we sold the 160, 157.50 for 45 cents. So we took both sides of the trade. So that's the way I defend trades. If it starts to go against me, I'll collect credit on the other side. So the risk was 250, doesn't change, but now the premium collected increased, which lowers my overall exposure on the trade and increases my profit potential, right? So if I just had a bear call, I'm making 85 cents, I'm risking 250 less 85. So I'm risking $1.65. But once I add an extra 45 cents here, now I collected $1.20 and I'm only risking 250. So in one contract, I'm risking $250 to make 125. And so what happened was Tesla shot up, and when it got to like 170, we bought back the 45 cents options we sold for 4 cents, home run, and then we were even on the other one, so we just closed the trade for a 45-cent win. So it's management. So a lot of times I might start off with like, and again, this isn't a trade Apple's not a trade I would do, but it's a little too extreme. But if we went here, if we did the 180, 185 for 40 cents, we could always add in at the right time, like a 162.50, 157.50, and now it changes the risk reward a little bit. This one's not a great example because there's no premium. They're not expecting Apple to move that far, but that's what you could do.
And now let me ask you a question. Do you have to, on the option side, um, do you the price right there, like let's say Tesla right now is hovering right around 170. So that's at 174.20.
Yeah.
There's an option call out there, 175. Could you do an option call out like 174.98, or it has to be 175 flat?
No, it has to be 175 flat, but like you could get good money for that even for tomorrow. Like that's $1.25. So if you thought there was an iceberg sell order at 175, you could sell the 175 call, buy the 177.50, and this is the kind of trade you would do where you're risking 684 to make 312 on the idea that Tesla stays below 175 by tomorrow.
Okay, so this is my problem that I have with the option on that.
Yeah.
Okay. And this is where I kind of train my traders to be very careful because everybody out there, first of all, we always teach everyone never, ever, ever buy and sell things and in zeros and fives. Okay.
Mhm.
So I'm going to show you why that is because what just happened. All right. Let me just share my screen and show you what's going on here.
By the way, I've
So,
never seen anything like this. GL got halted again at 56. I've never seen it. This is like a movie when you see a stock collapse like that. This is just complete destruction.
yeah, got hold at 56. Yeah. I mean, when we started, what was that? 75?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a pretty good short.
What was the
Um,
news on, what was the news on Rivian?
uh, I don't know. Rich will be able to figure that one out. I'll put it in there. But I want to show you something on Tesla really quick.
Uh-huh.
So Tesla, look what happened to Tesla, right? It never hit 75. Okay. It hit it. It got close. If I zoom over here, blow this up really quick here. We should blow this up. So you can see right here, it got close to it. It never got close to it. Look at it was only like 60 cents away, and then it dropped to 74. And same thing right here. Now, if you look at level four, there's a 97,000 share at 75. So it's like they already know it's already out there. You see? So that's the issue. So you might never get executed at 75 because they know that the orders are already out there. But if you went out there and you sold it just before, like when we said, like you always want to sell into strength, right? So if you know a stock's going up and you come up to a big iceberg order, you never want to sell to that big iceberg order. And we're going to teach you this in our 1 month class that we're going to be teaching why that is and how that happens on my perspective. But then when Adam comes in, he'll show you exactly how to implement that as an option because you do want to, you if you had an order out there and if it doesn't get hit, this is one of the reasons why you're probably not getting like, oh, it was only like 30 cents away. Why didn't it execute? This is one of the reasons why, you know? So it is important that that's why being adamant here, because a lot of people fail in options and don't know why. And like, you know what? I could have, should have made it, but they wanted and didn't know why it didn't never hit that strike price. This is one of the reasons why. So when you implement level four into that trade, and you want to know why that order was out there, this is one of the reasons why. So I would probably say like I'm the Marines and like Adam's like the Air Force, you know? So like I'm the first one that goes in and I'll report back to him and say, Adam, we need your help now to blow this place up, and that's where, the destruction is, when it comes to that, but me, like we're the ones in there. We have to kind of feel things out, what's going on. Just got to be smart about it. So
Uh, yeah, they're talking about, they just talked about it on CNBC. I had up the
what the
G.
GL?
Yeah. I mean, that's what you got any more that you guys are looking at today?
On the loser side, I mean, there was the APVO that dropped. That was a little too cheap. You can't short that one. Rent was pretty good. That was the one from yesterday.
Yeah.
This one died on us. This one's an IPO, MNDR, so we didn't want to trade that one. We backed off on that one. This one was on our watch list, but it died. This one we had this morning. This one moved pretty well. I got in. I lost money on this one. And thank God I did because it dropped from that 7, it dropped all the way to 6. But it's starting to make a big move now after 12. Once it got past this 7, you could see that 7 was resistance and now it became a support. The stock's up 51%, up $2.60. And this one right here, the issue with this one right here is this. There's a huge iceberg order right now that's hovering right around $8 right now. So you could see him right here. See him right there? Like
So,
35,000. And he's been out there since this morning. So once this order got filled right here, right around 7, now that 7 becomes that resistance becomes a support. Now it looks like we're getting close to him right now. We're going to see if he gets executed. You can see it right here. I'm going to share both screens. You can see it here. Here's the level 2. You can see a time in sales. We're getting close to that big order. We'll see if he gets filled. Do you see any options on that? On
uh,
CADL?
there are none. There are none.
There are none. Okay. So
I just went to go look, but now when you see these things, do you guys look to see what the news is like to know that like on that other one there was fraud versus like a biotech announcement versus
Well,
earnings?
well, I can tell you this. Biotechs, I've used for 30 years. Biotechs never come back. They'll never, if they lose FDA approval on something, that is everything. They never ever come back, very, very rarely. Something like this, this is obviously, this is a biotech stock. And obviously, it's pretty good news. You could see here on the long-term chart, we were trading this last couple of days. It was right for about 250. It ran to 11. It was more of a short squeeze, but what's happening now, it's starting to consolidate, what we call that. It never really backed off too much, but it's starting to be pretty strong. But it does have, if you see on the long-term chart here on the right, it's been having a tough time breaking right above this $8 price range. If it does break it, then we got halted again. GL's on an uptrend, starting to make a little bit of a bounce. Got halted on the up. That was going to happen eventually. The thing came down way too much. You probably have cover people covering right now. But if it does get past this 8, then we have to look back and say, okay, well, next biggest seller out there is at 9 for 4,200. You got about 10,000 here at 840, but you're starting to see this is called a ladder effect. Now other people are starting to push it down. See what it says 95, another 10,000, another 6,000 showed up. See how they're coming in there, filling in. So now orders starting to come in, now starting to drop. You see how it never hit $8?
Yeah,
never hit $8. That's why that's like, you got to be very careful to hold numbers. Most people have the mentality to think that.
Now, do you so I feel like the biggest thing with these trending stocks, and we could almost call them waves. Like if you're using iceberg, then waves, I guess, is the thing, right?
Right. Right. I actually did for some people that never watched me before, I just came out. I did some really nice I just started pumping these out. I did a really good YouTube
One
video.
sec. I just have to open my garage for the landscaper. One sec. I'll be right back.
Go
Sorry.
ahead. Nah, that's what happens when you're home. Hold on a second. Let me bring this up. Let me go to my channel. So here's my channel really quick. And you click on videos. Right here are a couple of the videos that I just did. There's a part 1 or part 2 about how to use NASDAQ Book Viewer. I did do one, which is our most popular, which is popular right here. You can actually get it on Thinkorswim also. I'm trying to get Tasty Trade to kind of get level 4 on their book also. That would be amazing, but it's a lot of work. But they have it on there. There's a couple of good videos on that. But if you, I have here's our event that's going live right now. But yeah, there's a couple of videos here. So if anybody wants to kind of see and watch some of those videos on how to kind of like how to use them a little bit better, just feel free to kind of just go on that channel, watch it, like it, friend it, whatever it is, But any questions so far? We're pretty much gonna wrap this up. We're already past, we're almost up to our hour. Any questions so far? Let me while he comes back, let me just kind of bring this up really quick, and let me tell you a little bit about what we're doing. So, and then we're gonna stick around and answer some questions for everyone. So basically, the reason why I invite everyone here is we want you to kind of see how two masterminds, two gurus that have been around for the longest time, and how one actually started as a day trader and promote himself to be more of an option trader, where I always stayed as a stock trader, professional day trader, and how you put two masterminds together, because some of you keep hearing about options. You want to know, and some of you lost a lot of money in options. Some people trade stocks and lost some money in stocks and don't know why. Well, we're going to try to mix that up together, but we can't teach you how to be a good trader within an hour. So we decided we want to do a master class for both of you, or for everyone here, which is a 4-part class. Yeah. Now, we're going to talk about iceberg orders. We're going to talk about how to trade the option on it, how to find them, how to, when to get in, when to get out. We're going to talk about risk to reward, all that stuff. So,
and by the way, we're going to, we can make trades while we're on there, right?
Right. We're going to do trades out there with you too, but remember, we're going to do trades like what I do my students. Sometimes I like to do bad trades, just kind of see how you guys react to it. Because the main thing is, it's not about watching people make money. It's about how we deal with the losses, because that's everyone's biggest problem too. So we'll get into bad trades too and see how you react to it. So this is why I like to, this is why we like you to join and take this big event that we're going to be hosting here. And we're going to get very, very deep on the options and stock part of this workshop. So this program is going to be 4 workshops. It's going to be a 4 lesson. We're going to do it over the course of, I think, over 2 weeks. We're going to start it in May. And, we're going to, in the meantime, we're going to give you some access, a couple other things with it. I'm going to bring this up really quick with you. So this is everything that you're going to be getting with it. You're going to get the 4 live workshops. You're going to get class recordings. You can get 1 month access to our professional trading room. That's going to come along with it. You're going to get Traders Talk Library. You're going to be getting live trading in the room. So not only is it more education, but you can also get access to our trading room. Let me just show you the trading room really quick. This is our trading room right now. And you could see that everyone's in here. You could see all our instructors here on the left-hand side. And you could see them. They've just been chatting away, by the way. I'm just going to bring this up. You could see them here, GL, GL, GL. You could see that, Josh, one of our instructors in there, top instructors, it's just nonstop. CLSK has also been another one that's been on the big move too. So, and we do live commentary. Adam's going to be in there also and is going to contribute to that in the middle of the day. So you're going to get all that stuff. So it's our live trading room, and we're going to talk about the options trading. We'll teach you how more or less the iceberg orders. Now, this is the deal that we're going to be giving everybody for this workshop. If everyone has a phone, you could scan that QR code right now. We were thinking it was going to probably be a $2,000 program, but we're going to do it for the first 50 people that register for $895. That's it. Okay. And you're going to get all that good stuff for that price. You're going to get him. You're going to get me. You're going to get because I know there are a lot of people on Adam's side that know nothing about iceberg orders and high frequency trades and algorithms. And there are a lot of people on my end that know nothing about the option way. They keep hearing about it. They tried it and they weren't very successful at it. So I don't think there's anybody better to bring in than bring Adam. And I've been doing this for 30 years. I have never done a duet like this. And because I've always been waiting for the right person to do it with.
You've never done this? I love that.
Yeah.
So we're doing 4 live sessions where we'll go over iceberg order training plus options training. And what do they get? The room for free for how long?
They're going to get the whole room for free for a whole month, as we're doing the class. So what happens is that even when we're doing the classes, then whenever they're there, they can always be in the trading room live. And then that's where we're doing some of because remember, like the trading room is like Sunday football, but you can't learn how to trade in Sunday football. You got to be there in midweek. And that's what the workshops are all about. Because when you're in there, we're going to talk about it, and then we'll discuss it. So you post the link right there.
By the way, Fausto, I realized there's people that already have your room. And I think what we said that I'll certainly honor is if they have your room and they're doing the mastermind, I would give them access to my featured service for the month, which isn't a live trading room, but it has webinars with the calls and trades and stuff like that too. So
you got both rooms.
Yeah.
You got both. So I didn't, throwing that in. That's good. That's great. So there you go. You got more towards it. That's right. So we got both rooms, not just one room. You got 2 rooms for $895, which I think is an absolute steal. You know what I mean? So, basically, like I said, the link is there. And, basically when you get here, just fill this out. Here's that registration page. Here's everything that we're going to be covering in there. We're also going to get coaching with it. So there's a lot of really cool stuff you're going to be getting with the trading room. And if you want, you can always upgrade. If you want to do for a whole year being a cyber group room, no problem. You could always upgrade right now for $997 on top of that. So that's a little last minute bonus if you want to add to it. Now, a couple of questions did come across here. I just want to talk about a couple of things really quick, Adam, and we're going to answer some people's questions here. What if you already belong to CTU? Once again, that's why you're going to have access to Adam's room. Okay, that's the reason for that, Phil. Now, the question is, do I have any questions for us? Can I go ahead and type into the chat? If anybody has any questions, just do that right now. You want to address a couple of main questions that do come up. That's very popular. So while everyone's asking, let me tell you everyone this. So I never heard of level 4 before, and that's fine. A lot of people haven't, unless you are a market maker like me on the New York Stock Exchange. On the NASDAQ market, that's what we used to trade on, something called Instinet. This is basically like Instinet. All right.
By the way, I missed that. I missed that, the level 4. I used to see that on my platform. I traded on at Daytech, and we had Lightspeed, which was we
Lightspeed.
all the quotes on the bid and ask, and it's a big advantage. So I'm excited to show people what that's about. I think that'd be really cool.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you know what? The problem, and I tell everyone's the issue right now is like I'm also featured at Nasdaq. Uh, every I've been there for several years now. You can actually watch some of the videos. We're on Instagram. You can watch some of the shorts I did with them. They, actually, I'll show you right here, really quick. Here's some pretty good shorts. Here you go. So here's some of the shorts, really quick, if you guys want to watch them. But there's a couple of those a couple of videos that I was actually broadcasted recently. And let me explain something to you. The exchanges want you to know how to trade on their markets, because if you know what you're doing, you'll be able to client theirs forever. And like the difference is back then when Adam started and when I started, you can get NASDAQ Book Viewer for $15 a month. Back then we used to pay 1,000. It was a fortune. I mean, it wasn't cheap. Even level 2 wasn't cheap. Everybody's like, I remember paying $8.97 when I started for level 2 quotes. Now it's like you get it for free because it's pretty much obsolete. But don't worry about buying anything right now. The only thing you need to buy right now is the $8.95. That's all you need. So don't worry about it. You need this before or after. We're not here in the software business. We don't work for these companies. None of that. But that's the most important thing. How much of an account do I need to for this type of a trading? I'll tell you the exact size of account you need. $8.97.95. That's all you need. Don't worry about brokerage accounts. If you need to get started, whatever it is, you don't need any of that money right now. The biggest mistake that I always tell everybody is like, why would you want to go buy a car if no one ever taught you how to drive it first? You know what I mean? Just let's show you how to play the game. If you got the brokerage account, run perfect, but you don't need one to be part of this, to be part of the training. And also, or what kind of brokerage account that you need, whatever it is, we'll discuss that when it comes down to it in the class right now. Whatever you have right now will work fine. Okay, we're brokerage firm neutral, and that's why we're here. And how does a live cyber group trading experience work? Like I said, Adam's going to have his room. He runs at his certain times. We run all day and out certain times. You could bounce back and forth. You don't have to worry about that. Do I need special tools or software to trading advantage for this invitation? No, you don't need anything. If you were able to get into this room, you're fine. That's it. That's all. You don't have to. You don't need any special softwares, anything that needs with that. All right. Now we got a couple of chats that came in here. Adam, I'm going to go through it really quick, and let me just leave this up there so we can see what they're getting. Fausto, do you only day trade stocks, or is it swing trading as well? John, I also do swing trade. Absolutely. Okay, absolutely. But you can't be a good swing trader unless you know what happens over the course of the day, because that's what trickles into it. And if you want to be a good option trader, sometimes you want to leverage yourself and you don't want to tie up all that cash, and you always need to be in cash. You always want to be. That's why I like trading. Especially I like to sleep at night, but I do my swing trades. Listen, I have my own IRAs and everything else when it comes to that. Any other question? The cost yes, Joe, it's $8.95, the cost of that workshop. Yes.
Well, it's 4 parts, and then they also get a month free of your room or my room.
Both.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Because like that person said, well, I'm already in Fausto's room. Why am I going to pay for it? No, yeah. You're getting access to Adam's room too, that you don't have to worry about paying for. But listen, let me just tell you something. I think you just paid for the class if you just shorted the stock that we were in the GL, right? Kind of paid for itself. You could have made money right now on the short on C. If you didn't see that big iceberg order right here, which we're going to talk about, the CIDL.
You shorted 100 shares on GL when you said to start this call. I think you'd be up $2,000.
Yeah.
By the way, I would not. That's not. I don't think that's what we're going to be trading.
We're not there yet.
Yeah, we're not like the guys who are like compounding. Like if you would have done that and then you did it again and again, you'd have $1 million. We're not doing that stuff. No, we're going to make good trades. We're going to provide good education. But I think at the end of the day, what's always drawn people to you, and also what's always drawn people to me, is we're real. We love trading. Like if there's no one on this call, you and I could be sitting here for an hour talking about these same trades and having a great time. We did that. We did that on the plane. We did that in Florida. We did that when we got back. So now this is just a chance to go for people who like trading. This is not for buy and hold investors. This is for people who like the action, who want to trade and find good ideas. If you want to find good ideas, then I think this is gonna be a really cool experience.
Question coming in. Joe's question, and for a year in the trade room, yes, for $1,000. So usually that goes for over 2,500, Joe. But if you sign up, if you want to upgrade right now with the workshop, it's 995 for a year in the side group room. You know, in the trading rooms. So instead of being there in a month, you get a whole year. So that's where you get that come into it. All right. And you got to remember too is like, you know, and let's just kind of remind everybody. I'm getting a couple of dings right here. Some people registering already. Beautiful. All right. You probably hear my phone ding. All right. So anyway, regarding about that, you know, everybody, you know, you hear so many people out there, you know, preaching, and you might go on YouTube and be like, hey, Fausto, you know, this guy's got 1 million followers. Why don't you have 3 million followers? First of all, listen, Adam and I are not the greatest, you know, YouTubers. Okay. We don't really care about that. It's not our job. All right. There are people out there that's all they do all day. There's a lot of bad actors. Adam's been here long enough to know what you can say and not say, how to be compliant and not be compliant. I mean, I don't know if anybody knows this, but I just found out recently. I didn't know that you were on the Jay Leno show.
Yeah.
How did you get on the Jay Leno show? I want to ask you.
Well, I did some dating shows on NBC, and we never talked about work. So I made it to there were 20 guys competing for Miss Missouri, and I made it to the end of the show. So it was me and just one other guy, and they came in and they said, "By the way, what do you do?" And I was like, "You know, I have a trading firm." And at the time, I owned a trading company with three other guys, and my job was to teach people how to trade. So they came to my apartment in New York. They saw Fortune magazine articles. They came to the firm and they're like, are you a millionaire? And I was like, yeah. And like, can you say that? I'm like, I don't really want to say that on TV. They're like, what can you say? You know?
Right.
And so I talked about it, and I had like thousands of people write in about the market. And by the way, so the name of the show was Average Joe. So it was regular guys going for Miss Missouri. But when it came down to the final three, they brought in three male underwear models. So in the end, it was me versus an underwear model, and she chose the model. And people were so upset that I got my own show, which was called Adam Returns. And when I came back on the show, they're like, Charles Schwab wants to sponsor something where you teach the women how to trade in a competition. So we did that, and I did a trading competition on TV, and honestly, the interest generated from the public, because I was teaching professionals how to trade, there were so many people that wrote in. That's what led me into this business. It
Right.
was like that thousands of people were asking for help in the market, so I started a community. But in answer, so in the finale of the show, there were 30 million people that watched the finale. So they had, leading up to the finale, it was on NBC. They had me come on the Tonight Show. I think it was no, they had me on to talk about my second show. So they had me come on to talk about the second show, which is really cool.
How long was that?
So I did it 2003 and 2004.
Oh, right before the crash.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Oh my God. That's how, and you're saying 2003. I started in 95 when I first got started. I know you back that too. But think about it. Now it's 2024. You're talking 20 years ago.
Yeah, it was
That's
a great
scary.
memory. It's a great memory.
Yeah. But you don't forget that. Well, my Hall of Fame was I was almost on. I also have a cook. I have a home living channel. So I was almost on with Gordon Ramsay on the Master Chef show.
Oh,
So
really?
yeah, yeah. So I was out of like 35,000 people. It was a second show. I was down to the last 25 people to get no last 200 people to be on the show, and it was me against this other person from Long Island, and so I had a passion. I mean, if you watch my show, so I love that. That's my therapy. Like one of the things I do is like I teach people how to cook, but then you know I love to garden. I love to cook. I love to take care of chickens. I got them over here in my house and stuff. So it's fun. You get to watch. It's a pretty cool show. But what happened there was like it was just me and him, and not as fortunate like you though. they liked his story better, which looks like that's the reason why they liked you too. He was like, his wife died. He's taking care of his kid, you know, and this is his passion stuff. The Italian kid had a much heavier Italian accent than me. He was like Guido, you know, and he picked him over me. Fortunately, he finished third on the MasterChef show. So that was like this close to getting on that one, but that was pretty cool. That was pretty cool. But I like yours. That's awesome, man. That's awesome. So anyway, getting back to registering for this event, listen, this is why we're here after 30 years, each been around for so long. This is the first time that I ever teamed up and did a workshop with somebody like the level of Adam Mesh. So I think everyone will pretty much enjoy it. So take the time, register for it. If you have any questions, you could always email us and we'll be happy to get a hold of you and discuss it. But like I said, this is, log in now, get into the trading room. Don't wait last minute because we want you in the trading room to kind of get your feet wet and start getting up there, and then you'll be able to get there. One last thing I want to bring up regarding about that stock, CADL. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll bring this up really quick for you. Look what happened to the price of the stock. It never, ever tested $8. Never tested $8. And it just keeps going lower and lower and lower. And if you look here on level 4, see how I never tested it? And then all of a sudden, another guy jumped across him for 9,000. Look at that thing drop. If you didn't get out right before that 790 and didn't know that, now you're at 720. How's that working out for you? These are things you're going to learn in this workshop. All right.
I love that. I'm excited. I'm excited to have everyone come on. So we're going to do this in May, so they could sign up now, right? And then they're going to get the 4 sessions and access for a month. And I literally think one day of trading, like I used to sell pop-up events where I would live trade for a couple hours and I would sell it for like this much, because the idea is that we can make thousands, so I love the idea of the 4 events during market hours. That's a key factor, is that it's during market hours. Yeah. So
and we're going to break it up over the course of the week. So it's not like, you're going to have 4 lessons back to back. You're going to have a lesson, you're going to digest it. A couple of days later, we'll do the second one. A couple of days, we'll do the third one. Break it up over the course of the month so we can kind of work our way through it. But it's basically, you guys got a little taste of the what we're going to be doing. Any other questions? Any other questions? Good to see you, Bill. I see Bill Ireland, one of my students in there. Where do you go, Bill? Hope you enjoyed it. All right. So, like I said, you got our emails, you got the registration. If anyone has any questions, feel free to email me or Adam. And looking forward to it. All right. Thanks for being here.
Awesome.
Everyone, thanks for coming.
And you created a lot of buzz. I love the way you just call out stocks 2 days in a row. It's one day, maybe 2 for 2. I don't even think that's lucky, but now you're 4 for 4. That's impressive.
The goal is to teach everyone else how to figure out on their own. That's the key part about it. As long as you figure it out on your own, you know what you're doing. Like I said, I'm looking forward just to take the class, just to learn from you. You know what I mean? To see what you're doing on the options. Because I always wanted to learn, but I was never really great at it. But
likewise, and your idea flow is going to be invaluable to me. So I'm hoping this is the first of a bunch of, like you see me with the other stuff. I'm not organized with events and marketing and all that stuff. But when it comes to trading and sitting here, I could do this all day. Like I could literally come on with you at 9 and go to 4:30 and be psyched. So, all right, cool.
All right, guys. Thanks for listening. We'll see you in the trading room. And please, everyone, join. Let's sign up soon.
Bye.